begged and begged. Sarah rolled her eyes, clearly uninterested in playing along. Yeah, whatever, she muttered, not even bothering to make eye contact with me. I had an overwhelming feeling that Todd was up to something again. The thought of sitting at a table with him made me want to slam the door in their faces, but the kids were only doing what their father was telling them to. I guess I couldn't fault them. Jason leaned in closer to me and batted his eyes. Please? It'll make Dad so happy, he said to me. I should have said no. I really wanted to say no, but for some reason, the words didn't come out. I agreed and said I'd stay just for dinner, but I'm not staying long. Jason cheered, grabbed Sarah's hand, and pulled her back toward their house. When I got to Todd's, the smell of something roasting in the oven filled the house. Todd greeted me like nothing had ever happened between us. He still had the plastered smile that he'd always had. He was far too cheerful for my liking, but I sat down at the table anyway. Sarah slouched in her chair, barely paying attention, while Jason ran around to help set the table as if it were his life's mission. As we sat down, Todd excused himself to go to the kitchen to finish up the last meal. I was about to dig into my plate when I noticed Sarah glancing at me, then at her plate. She fidgeted a little and bit her lip before switching her plate with mine. It was quick, but I caught it. I asked her what she was doing, and she shrugged, looking at me. She said it was nothing. Before I could say anything else, Todd called from the kitchen, asking if we were all ready to eat. Jason was already halfway through his food, and Sarah sat back, staring at the plate she had just switched. Then, just as Todd walked back into the room, Sarah's plate slipped from her hands and crashed to the floor, food scattering everywhere. Todd rushed over to her, frowning. Sarah said she'd go get another plate and walked to the kitchen while Todd cleaned up the mess. Todd and his kids had climbed over the fence the night before, broke into my shed, and rummaged through my things. They had even tried to start a bonfire with the old photo albums. I was done playing nice. I called the police again, and this time I had proof. When the officers arrived, I showed them the footage, and they finally took me seriously. Todd, of course, tried to play it off as another misunderstanding, claiming his kids were just cleaning up after some teenagers had trashed the yard. But the police weren't buying it this time. They warned him to stay off my property or face legal consequences.